Hey there, it's Megan Barnhart, and I'm coming at you live from the Write with Megan Facebook page and also the Write with Megan Facebook group. If you are not already in the Write with Megan Facebook group, I really encourage you to come join us. This is a place for people who consider themselves writers and also those who don't to ask questions and get answers about your writing process, about grammar and mechanics, about how to move forward when you're feeling stuck. It's a really welcoming space. We have authors, we have people writing for their businesses, and dabblers and hobbyists as well. So come on over and join us there. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to write about your business without boring your customers to tears. This is a problem that a lot of business owners have, and I'll give you, I'll tell you a secret. The more passionate you are about your business and the more of an expert you are, probably the more you struggle with how to write about your business. So if you struggle with that, don't feel bad. In fact, you might turn it around and reframe it and say, wow, I'm probably having a hard time writing about my business because I know so much and I'm trying to figure out what to say and what to leave out. Hey, Sarah, great to see you. So, hi Lloyd. As I'm going through and giving you this tip that's going to help you turn around this situation, I really invite you to put your questions into the chat and let me know what you struggle with when it comes to writing about your business. So, common problem for people who write about their business is you end up droning on and on. Maybe you're trying to write about your services, or maybe you're even talking to somebody and you feel like you go on forever and ever and ever, and you kind of watch the person's eyes glaze over if it's happening live. Or maybe you feel like you're boring customers, even if you're not writing or saying a lot. You feel that the information you're sharing isn't really compelling. You watch people kind of disengage, or they're not staying on your website. They're not reading through your writing. Maybe you feel like you overwhelm people. Does this happen to anybody? Raise your hand, give me an emoji if you feel like when you talk about what you do to customers, they get kind of overwhelmed. You're sharing way up here and they're down here, not sure even what you're talking about. Like, what are those words you're using? I don't even know. um, or, if you feel like you're using technical language, does that happen to you? Where you're speaking like an expert because you are an expert, but you might be kind of, again, above the level of where your customers are, and they just don't get it. They don't understand. Let me know in the comments. Do you find yourself up against any of these struggles? Like you're saying too much, or you're not engaging people, or it's boring, or it's just so overwhelming? The problem with writing and speaking about our businesses in this way is that if people can't get excited, if they can't understand what we're doing, then they can't get excited. And then, of course, they're not going to take the next steps with us in our business. And you might have the perfect service that can help somebody and change her life. But if that can't be communicated in writing or when you speak, then it doesn't happen. You get a missed connection, right? And this problem is based on, or it's coming about from one big, there's one big thing causing this problem. Whether that's your customers tuning out or getting bored or just feeling overwhelmed and confused. And one big thing causing it is they can't imagine in a very clear way how you will help them, right? Before we buy something, before we invest in something, even if it's something small, we want to be able to clearly picture, how is that going to make my life different? Okay. Lloyd says, I find my content is so boring, I don't do enough to distinguish myself from every other editor. Okay, guys, I have to tell you, Lloyd is actually my editor, so I can tell you firsthand how amazing it is to work with him. So that would be a big problem, right, Lloyd? If you feel like your language isn't setting you apart, that's a really unfortunate thing because your services do set you apart. So I'm gonna I'm gonna be talking about something called your special sauce later on, and so I hope I remember to come back to that point. But yeah, very frustrating. So the reason this happens is because you are an expert in your field, right? And you're excited to help people. So you might be telling them all of the background about what you do and why. You want to show your skills and have people trust you. So maybe you're giving them a lot of the technical pieces. And those are all good things, right? Wanting people to trust you, wanting to show your expertise, and wanting to show that you're really excited to make things happen. Those are all positive. So what we want to do is take all that same great energy you have and make one simple switch for how you talk and write about your business. That one simple switch is to talk about the results that you get for your customers. And I mentioned special sauce, so we'll add that in too. That's kind of a bonus that I hadn't planned on talking about, but we'll talk about that as well. So how to get people engaged and how to get them excited is, again, to talk about the results that they'll get. Now, when you talk about results, you want them to have three qualities. They should be really specific. So when it comes to editing, is that going to be a book that's better organized and really draws readers in with its build of excitement or drama? Is it going to be a manuscript that doesn't have errors, and so it'll be easier for people to read and clear, and you're not going to get those reviews and comments on Amazon that say this book was full of errors? I was just reading hanging out in an authors group just this morning, and somebody was saying, "Oh, my book is being torn to shreds by people who were saying there are all kinds of problems in it because I can't afford an editor." So those are really specific results. You want to think about exciting results. What is something that a customer really, really wants? Because there may be a lot of results that you help people get, but which are the ones that they're like jumping out of their seats to get? An error-free manuscript or a climax that really zings. Those might be the exciting things they're after. And the results you list should also be realistic, right? Because we're all savvy enough to know not to click on that thing on the internet that says lose 100 pounds in one day or find your soulmate by clicking this button, right? We all know there are some things that are simply too good to be true. So you want to talk about results that people can get that feel realistic. They're exciting, but they're also within the realm of reason. Okay, so now let's talk about how to do that. When you are talking about results, it's really, it should be really straightforward. You want to think about what are the things you help people do, and then you want to go ahead and just list them. I have two favorite tools I'm going to share with you for the mechanics of writing about what you do, and you can use these when you talk as well. The first one is weather, as in WHETHER, whether this or that. Okay, so if you use a weather, it's an easy way to list the results you get for people without having to know exactly what somebody wants. So for editing, so Lloyd helps people writing fiction, and he also helps people writing nonfiction, and he helps people with technical writing. And even if it's just one genre, even if it's just somebody writing a fiction book, somebody writing a novel, he can't read your mind when you come to his website to know what the particular result is that you would be most excited about. So this is a great time to just list them, right? Whether you want to A, B, or C, I'll help you as your editor. Okay, so when you list those directly, people get a chance to self-identify and go, oh yeah, those are the things I need. So here's the challenge for anybody watching. What are 2 or 3 results that you get for people in your business? And if you're an author, your business is your book. So, or your books. So go ahead and jot down what are, or think to yourself, what are 2 or 3 results I get for people? And then can you form a weather statement, whether you want to X or Y or X, Y, or Z. So that's my challenge. Put it in the comments. Dave says, give them a story or character to find interesting. People love stories and will follow with interest. It's why mascots are so popular. It sure is. You know, it's not an accident that I coach both authors and entrepreneurs, because really what I do is help people create stories. And if you are an author, you know that the first chapter of your story is not about telling people everything about your world, right? We've all picked up a book where you open the first chapter and it's like a history and you're, oh gosh, no, right? The very first thing that happens in the chapter of a great book, first chapter of a great book, is we get totally sucked in and we bond with the character. And once we've bonded, then we're interested in all the details of the world. And the same thing is true for businesses, right? We bond first and inform second. Once you've gotten some kind of relationship, once you have, as Dave's talking about, created that story where there's an interest, then you can share a lot more detail because there's a relationship there. So yeah, Dave, I feel you on that 100%. Oh, hey, Marina, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. All right. So I had put this challenge out to you all. You know, can you come up with your weather statement, whether you want this or this? And if something is not coming to you right now, that's fine. I'm actually going to be offering you a resource at the end of this talk. So you get more on the weather. My next favorite tool for talking about results and getting people excited is a "so you can" statement, right? So let's go back to, anybody else want to share what your business is? Go for it. But I'm gonna go back to Lloyd, our editor, so you can get a concrete example, right? So if he had a weather statement that's whether you need to restructure your story, get it perfectly proofread, or let's stick with those. So whether you need to restructure your story or get it perfectly proofread, I'll be your editor so you can publish the best book you possibly can, or something, you know, that would be equally exciting. You know your customers better than I do, because even though I'm one of them, it's hard to think of the language that everybody else uses, right? So how would they talk about what they really, really want? And then you give it to them in a "so they can." So whether you want to X, Y, or Z, I'll help you so you can. And even just that one sentence, if that's the only way you show your results, gives you a space to share concretely what it is you do for people. Okay, so if you have a question, I do invite you put it into the chat. And if you feel, or let me know if this makes sense, talking about results and using that weather statement and that "so you can" statement. Give me an emoji. Let me know in the comments. Is that making sense? Are we good? Because I want to talk about that bonus, your special sauce. Yeah. And also we'll go back to this idea of storytelling. So I mentioned that I'm going to give you access to a resource. And the resource is about creating your business bio. Now, the funny thing about a business bio is that most of us do it backwards. And the way we do it is we're like, it's my bio. I'm supposed to write about myself and my business and what I do and my background. There's a place for that, but not as the first thing that you tell to people who want to work with you. Because what do they want to know? They want to know what you can do for them, right? They want to know what results they can get with you. So the freebie that I'm offering to you is a recipe for writing your biz bio that's actually not about you very much at all. It's about the results that you get for the people you work with. If you want to grab a copy of that, you can go to meganbarnhard.com/bio, and I'll put a link in once I finish the broadcast. But there you go. That's what this is all about, is telling a story, like Dave was saying, is getting your results front and center and clear so that people go, oh, that's what it would look like if I worked with you. Those are the results you can get from me. there's one more big ingredient that's actually in that bio recipe. And this goes back to a comment earlier on, that I don't do enough to distinguish myself from every other editor. So this is where your special sauce comes in, because the way you do what you do is different from the way anybody else does it, just by definition, right? Even if you trained at the same place as somebody else, your life experience, the way you think about things, the way you connect to people and relate to them, that all means working with you is different than working with anybody else. And when you create your bio and when you write about your business, when you talk about your business, if you can tell people what your special sauce is, then they know why they want to do this work with you, right? It's like, yeah, I want those results. I want a manuscript with 0 errors. I want to know my grammar and style are spot on. I want somebody who's calling me out on like weird habits I have where I keep starting sentences with and, or I use a gajillion exclamation points. This guy right here. Yeah, I want all of that, but why do I want that from you as opposed to from any other editor, from any other business provider, right? That's the question. So finding your special sauce is something that's a little bit different for everybody. If you grab that freebie, the bio recipes, actually there's a link there to a blog post I wrote about what is your special sauce and how do you find it, because your special sauce might be about your background and training. Maybe you have exactly the right background and training. It might be about your special approach. Maybe you have a process that sets you apart. It might be about being a mix of two kind of different ways of thinking. I have a client and friend who's a Facebook ads specialist, and she has like this heart as big as the world. And when she works with clients, she really, really connects with them and understands their businesses. But she also comes from a background working in like big data. Like she used to work for a government department and like have to track big trends. And that combination is not one you always see, but it turns out it's incredibly impactful for helping people who have really like mission driven and heart-centered businesses create ads that reach a lot of people and get big results. So your special sauce might be some kind of combination. So there are a lot of different ways to find your special sauce. And again, I give you some guidance for doing that in the blog post you can find if you grab that resource. But let me stop because this is a lot. Speaking of overwhelming people, right? Let me pull back. For you in your business, the result that I hope for is that when you talk and write about what you do, other people go, oh, I need that, I want that, or oh my gosh, my Uncle Phil needs that, or oh my gosh, my friend Susie needs that. That's the result that I want for you, that you can write and speak about your business in a way that gets people excited because you're being specific and you're showing them the exciting results they can get, and you're letting them know that it's all realistic. So if that sounds good, if those are results you would like, go ahead and grab your free bio creating resource at meganbarnhard.com/bio. And if you have more questions about writing your bio, I really hope you'll put them in the chat. This is actually one of the things I really specialize in. So if you've been struggling for a while to write your bio or to write the homepage or the about page for your business, go ahead and put your comments in the chat here, and let's keep this conversation going because it's one of my favorite things to help you solve, because ultimately it really is just writing a great story. So if you found this video helpful, please do like and share with another business owner you know. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.